Okay guys, here we are. This is video 24. This is the 8th of April. It is Monday, the 8th of April 2019, and this is the 1889 project. We are in the process of cleaning the still, the mash tun, and all those things so that we can put the first run of both batches in the still so that tomorrow we can run the second distillation of the combined first two halves. If you've been following along for the last 23 or whatever it is videos, you know what I'm talking about. But I thought I would make a quick video because people have been asking me, why is it taking so long? What's the deal? What is so unusual about this? And I figured I would answer those questions real fast. So, First of all, you should realize and you should know already that this is a 130-year-old recipe. So it's a 130th anniversary. That's problem number one because we're using technology from back then and everything else. So it's very complicated. It also hasn't been made for about 100 years. It's very unusual. Also, the recipe's unusual. It doesn't really have actually a way of describing it in the federal government. We've been trying to figure out what to call it because they allow corn whiskey to be clear, but this is more rye than corn, so it should be a clear rye, white rye. They want me to call it vodka. I don't really want to do that, so I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's that unusual. It's that old. So that's part one. So we get the recipe together. The recipe contains rye, both malted and raw, as well as a little bit of corn and white sugar. So, very different recipe from what my grandfather made or all my friends or any of my whiskey buddies. It's different from all those recipes. Very unusual recipe. We did our best to approximate everything as well as we knew from my family history. But I'm guessing that the grains were different here. We're using an heirloom rye from the San Luis Valley, Colorado. Very unusual. We're using special corn from the Native American tribe called the Ute Mountain Nation down in the southwest part of the state. So all this stuff is organic, no GMO Colorado grain, which we're imagining is different. We also have a different altitude and everything else, different water. So even though everything's amazing, it didn't work as well with this recipe. It created all kinds of issues that are good and bad. First of all, the viscosity level is very high, and this created an extremely long fermentation. The initial fermentation, which we thought we were going to just make the mash, do the fermentation, run the still like we do. Normally it takes about 7 days. Well, 5 or 6 sometimes. After 2 weeks, we were freaking out. After 3 weeks, we're just scratching our head. Nobody could figure out what was going on because it took over 3 weeks before it started to die down. And that was insane. We've never seen anything like that. So, okay. Then we couldn't transfer it because the viscosity level was still high. So we had to split it into 2 batches, add water. Then it re-jump started and fermented again or continued fermenting. And we've been through that. So that's why it took so long, because we had to ferment half of it, store half, re-ferment the second half, then run the first half while the second half was re-fermenting, then run the second half. I mean, this has been, and each time we have to clean, where everything we do is single pot still, everything we do is 130-year-old technology. We're not using power jets, we're not using, agitation kind of stirring devices and electronic, controlled cooling devices and computers. We're not using any modern technology. So this took forever. You got to basically scrape all the grain out, scrub it down, wash it out. And every time you're doing it, you're redoing everything. You're re-cleaning everything. So it has taken all the way till now. We're going on 40 days. It has taken all the way till now till we have both halves of the batch, both run the first time. That has given us 110 gallons at about 55 proof from the first distillation. We're now cleaning the still out, putting all that back in, and tomorrow we will run the still, and hopefully we will be tasting finished product, double distillation of this 1889 recipe tomorrow, the 7th of April. That's what we're shooting for. So I just wanted to bring everybody up to speed and stay in touch. Thank you for being patient this entire time, because it has been crazy, but it has been one of the most educational and wonderful experiences of our lives. And from what we have from the first distillation and from the original fermentation processes, the smells, flavors, and things like that seem like they're developing very nicely. We won't know till it comes out the end of the still, but we're looking at hopefully an amazing, amazing product. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But this is Victor Matthews at the Black Bear 1889 Project, Film 24. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.